This is day one, the first time we're trying this. If you want to get these sneakers in hand for retail, potentially before the drop date, this is the first chance we're doing that. At this channel, we're starting something new, and I'm not going to explain it in too much detail in every video because that would be boring for the regular viewers, but I will tell you there's a link to a video down below about getting sneakers for retail ahead of drop dates, and if you want to know how I can do that for you from Tokyo, Japan, click that link in the description down below. But we'll just park all that and then get into this shoe today. So the important details for those guys that might be interested in these guys is August the 14th is the drop date here in Tokyo, Japan, and it's $13,200. $13,200. Give me $13,000. 13,200 yen, and basically you just knock off the last two digits to work out what that is in dollars. So 13200. Knock off the two zeros. 132 is about $132. Basically, you know, I can try and get that for you guys for retail on August the 14th. But I need to know your size, so hit me up in the comments down below if you want to know, or if you want to try and get these guys. And if you want to know more about how I'm doing that and why and blah 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 blah, it's all in the description down below. Okay, park all that into the actual video itself. So what we're doing is looking at a pair of Nike Dunk Lows, basically that's what this channel's all about. Daily content from Tokyo, Japan, about upcoming sneaker releases, giving you guys some insight into what's coming around the corner, and then hopefully that insight will give you a decision as to whether you want to go for shoes or not. Now these guys I would have gone for in a heartbeat until I looked at them, which is kind of odd, because I was looking at them from afar, you know, just casually looking through social media and websites and stuff like that. Came across a pair of autumnal Dunk Lows, thought, oh, they're pretty nice, they're to fit with the season, all that kind of stuff, and then just sort of flittered by them. But then when I saw them coming up on the sneakers app here in Tokyo, Japan for August the 14th, I thought, you know what, this is a good time to actually do a video about them, and then did what I usually do, which is every single day research a shoe, bring it to you guys out there. And then it was through doing the research that I looked at these guys and I was kind of like, you know, there's a couple of things on them that I just don't really kind of like. Basically, it would have been a great shoe if these two details had been something else, but they've gone ahead and done some odd stuff and changed some stuff around on the shoe. So let's have a look at it, and we'll go top to bottom, front to back, and look at the whole thing, and I'll let you know my perspective on the shoe. First things first, I love the autumnal colours, the browns in there. I was surprised about how many browns there are. I thought this was going to be a sort of orange, a burnt orange suede and black leather shoe, and then we get closer into it and you see that the black that I thought was black leather is actually brown leather, and it's got more colours going on in there, and I was kind of surprised about that, but having said that, there are even more colours on top of that make me somewhat disappointed. So let's start with my favourite thing to look at on Dunk Lows and Air Jordan 1s, and I'm talking about the line. I always talk about this, the line that runs through the toe box, up the quarter line, across the lacing system, and down the ankle on both the Dunk Lows and Air Jordan 1 Lows. Because usually that's a great place to get the design of the shoe, and it's a good place to quickly note if there's anything unique or innovative going on, because that line's usually a very solid line. If you had, say, a light blue and white Dunk Low, university blue, the blue would run from that toe box up the quarter line, across the laces, and down the ankle. But as you can see on today's shoe, it's taken that a little bit differently and going in a different direction, because the first three parts of that, toe, quarter line, laces, are all in a very deep dark brown, but then the back end, the ankle part of things, is in a much more lighter burnt orange suede, and I think that's a really neat detail when they do play with that line, because like I said, in standard Dunk Lows that would be one colour, and then your panels would be a different colour, for example on the toe and the midfoot. So it's great to see them sort of breaking that line and breaking things up a bit, and of course it's important to kind of look at the detailing on the materials of those guys, and it's probably a good idea to zoom in at the top of the ankle where the ankle panel meets the laces, and then you can see side by side the colours, burnt orange and dark brown, and then the materials. In the dark brown side it's a quality leather, and in the burnt orange side it's a quality suede. So it's kind of a neat little combination that comes together there in that shoe. So we're all good so far. This would have been a great shoe had they stopped there, but they didn't stop there. And let's go down to the swoosh to see where they went wrong with this shoe, in my opinion. The swoosh itself is a great colour, fits in with the colourway, but it seems to be in a very solid leather, which I was kind of disappointed with, because everywhere else in the shoe that's burnt orange seems to be in the suede. So I was kind of expecting that on the swoosh, and when I didn't get it, I think I didn't get it, unless I've misrepresented these kind of pictures behind me here, that it's a simple leather swoosh, so even though the colour matches the different hits on the shoe that are burnt orange, the materials don't. So that was kind of like a, no, okay, their choice sort of thing, but still it fits with the rest of the shoe. But then what doesn't fit with the rest of the shoe is what's behind that swoosh, and we're talking about the mid-foot panel, which is done in what I'm calling blue cloud. It seems to be a kind of deep blue, a royal blue, but having a cloudy effect on there. And I have absolutely no idea why they put that on the shoe. The dark browns and the burnt oranges, yes, autumn, fantastic. Cloudy blue, I'm really trying hard to work out what it was that they were going for that. And I basically can't. But it's that kind of thing on a shoe that sort of makes me sort of like go, why'd you do that, Nike? You know, they're a great looking shoe. They really, really are. Quality materials, absolutely up there. But then sticking this colour on the midfoot panel, and if we go around to the back and have a look at the heels, you'll see on the back there as well that we've now gone into sort of purpley colour, but below that purpley colour is that cloudy blue again, repeated underneath the branding panel on the back there. So I'm not entirely sure what their plan was for that. Would have preferred it to fit in with the rest of the sort of narrative of the shoe. But staying on there on the back, is kind of worth looking at the branding panel and seeing that purple flash of colour on the back. Again, it's an unusual colour in there when we're going with these burnt orange, earthy, brown, autumnal colours, and then bang, here's a big flash of purple, and right in the middle of it, a big deep brown Nike branding, and the two colours really don't sit that well side by side again, in my opinion. And speaking of the purple, let's go and have a look from the top down into the shoe, and you get to see that the tongue is done in that burnt orange, and again you're featuring the sort of purple branding at the top of the tongue. Back from that, we look onto the inside of the shoe, and instead of the burnt orange of the tongue, we're onto those deeper browns that are the second sort of major colorway on the shoe, in the lining and on the insole. But on top of that insole, again the purple, and again I still don't know what it's doing there. I don't know what it's meant to represent. Maybe it's got some particular color that matches autumn somewhere in the world, I don't know. But still, I mean, there's a lot going on there. The piping around the tongues themselves, the lining, they're all in those beautiful brown colours. And then the final place to look at for beautiful brown colours is to flip them upside down and have a look at the outsole, and you can see that the outsole front to back is in that deep brown to match the front half of the line up above. But going back to the midsole, we've looked at the outsole, but the midsole, the shot of the kind of heel area of the midsole, this is where I'm sort of like on the shoe, and it's why is the midsole black? Couldn't they have made it brown to match the outsole and the upper, or burnt orange, or even maybe white? But having it black, it's almost like a fifth colour coming into the shoe. Burnt orange, dark brown, purple, and what's the other colour that's on there? It's the cloudy blue, and now we've got black in the mix as well, and it seems like a little bit too much for me. So that cloudy blue element and then the black midsole are sort of like too much going on, too busy this shoe for me, especially when it didn't need to be. They could have gone with dark brown on the midsole to match the outsole, and then gone with that burnt orange or dark brown on the midfoot panel, and we would have been absolutely golden. But that's not to say you guys out there aren't interested and thinking about going for these shoes, and maybe you want me to do that for you on August the 14th. Maybe these guys are dropping late August, early September, where you guys are in the world, and I can grab a pair on August the 15th, August the 14th from the sneakers app if I get the W. And then if somebody wants them out there because they won't come in my size, hit me up with a comment down below about the size you'd like them in. I'll try for that size. If I hit it, they're yours for retail. So that's my look at the shoe today, my daily content, having a look at those Nike Dunk Low Ciders, they're calling them. And I'm not entirely sure that name's going to stick. The blue on there makes me concerned that they're actually not going to go with cider for these. If it was just the brown, the two different shades of brown, the burnt orange and the deeper brown, then maybe yes, cider. But with the extra colouring in there, I'm not entirely sure if they'll stick with that cider moniker or go with something else. But that's my video for today. You know, the daily content churning out from Tokyo, Japan. The second last day of the Olympics today. I'm shooting this video on Saturday night. Tomorrow is the last day in the closing ceremony tomorrow. Be interesting to see what they do in this COVID era. There's usually a few medals that still need to be resolved on the days after the closing ceremony, so it's not the perfect end of the Olympics. But basically the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony and everything in between is highly concentrated sport, and there are the odd, outliers before the opening ceremony and after the closing ceremony. But basically, the Olympics coming to a close tomorrow, although it's dreadful weather. There's actually 2 typhoons coming to converge on Japan at once, which is a miracle piece of weather for the closing ceremony of the Olympics. But with that being said, it's time to wrap this one up. Hopefully you guys appreciate that content. You're interested in that, these sneakers at retail or that kind of stuff. So, just the last thing to do is to tell you and remind you and say, as I do at the end of every single video, that I do this every single day. And that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.